fingers.
I want big. I want a big one.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? In this video, I will share with you my gardening mistakes that I made this spring, last spring, the previous spring, and the previous spring. And also, I will share with you my biggest spring gardening mistake that I kind of regret, that I did it. Alright everyone, in my first year of growing cut flowers in my garden, I was afraid to cut the spring flowers because they just bloom in my garden. I don't want to take them away from my garden, but there are a few reasons why you can, cut some of them for your arrangement and you can leave some of them in the garden for you to enjoy. For instance, it's going to be raining like for the next 3 or 4 days. If I leave this daffodil in the ground, the rain will destroy them. So I harvest them and I put them in this arrangement. So they kind of, get saved. Also, I am practicing this kind of flower arrangement that I got inspired by a floral designer, on Instagram. And I can use this daffodil that they are going to flop all over the place, to practice my flower arrangement. And these forsythia, they are already blown open. I can cut them and practice with them because they're not gonna last in my garden anyway. Actually, I can only use a few stem of them because they're pretty beat up. By the way, I am using the pin frog and the floral wire. And this white daffodil, already broken. And this is Eastern red bud tree. And I only cut a few stems from the whole tree. So nobody can even tell, that I cut them from the tree in front of my house. And this spirea, I just cut the branch that stick out too much. And these hooker leaf, they are old leaves from last year. They are pushing out the new leaves right now. So I technically just help them, make the process faster. This spirea I cut from the middle of the bush. So I kinda help the bush to, have more air circulation in the middle. It's pick up the daffodil color in the middle here. I don't know the variety, but see? This is how you make the color more integrated. You can also cut the flowers that are hidden in your garden. Nobody's gonna see that flowers that hidden in that little corner. But if you cut them and then you arrange them, there are a lot more people that can enjoy these flowers with us. I'm gonna put this one right in the middle to hide the chicken wire a little bit. And it gives like dimension, Yep. I have been made so many mistakes with my Ranunculus, which is ridiculous. The first year, I tried to start them in like spring, hope for them to bloom in summer. And then I learned that, summer here in New Jersey is too hot for them. So I failed. The second year, I started them in late winter, hope for them to bloom in like, early summer. And I failed again because I did not protect them. Plus because I didn't start them in fall. And then the third year, I started them in fall. Okay, I did everything properly. I have the protection over them. But I overwatered them. I lost about half of them. And the rest of them were not doing great at all. And this season, I did everything correctly from the beginning. In fall, I started them. I watered them just once, get them settled in the garden. Give them protection. I give them the double double plastic wrap, which will keep them warm all winter. And then they have been doing great until last week. I got so busy with preparing for Easter, and then I forgot to open the low tunnel in a very hot sunny day, and 1/3 of my ranunculus burned. And now it's been raining for 2 days, and I thought they like water, so I did not put the protection plastic wrap back on them. And what happened is that they rot. So this year I learned that there are pain in the negotiana. Jason always like comfort me when I fail growing flowers, when I am disappointed with anything in my garden. But this time, even Jason, he got frustrated with them too. Speaking of mistake, I just dropped the celosia floret seed in the ground. All of them. Oh my gosh. Luckily, it's black seed, so I can seal it. And these seeds are so expensive. I have a lot of scars all over my body, like right here, one on my arm, one on my leg, and one on my feet, and everywhere. Not because I was naughty, but I was super clumsy. I have made a lot of mistakes about seed and seedling since I started gardening last year, when I started growing the Lysianthus, in January, right? So Lysianthus, like, they take forever to grow, like forever and ever and never. So, they just became like teeny tiny like that. I thought, they need more fertilizer. And then I just kept fertilizing them like a lot. And one day I woke up and I, came check on them. They turn yellow and then they slowly rot. So I lost the whole tray of Lysianthus. And then I found out that they, it's their nature. They grow very slow. Plus the potting mix that I use for my seed starting already have some slow release fertilizer in it already. So I should not have fertilized them until they grown enough, and I can really feel that they unusual grow too slow. Unusual grow too slow. Grow too slow unusually. Did I say it right? Thank you so much for the seeds. About 3 or 4 years ago, when I started gardening, and my friend, my very close friend, we sow seed together. We buy seed and we kind of share seeds. We look at all the package of the seedlings that we bought together, and I saw this in lupin. Days to bloom is 300 days. I was laughing at my friend so hard. I was like, are you okay? Like, why did you buy this? It's gonna take you 300 days. We want to see flower this summer, not next year. I completely underestimated growing lupins. So my friend, she saw the lupins and then she grew them. And of course, they didn't bloom that year. We saw them, we left them in the garden, and then we have forgotten about them. And then we kind of surprised ourselves, 2 years later. And it's just amazing. It gives us, the endorphin, adrenaline, or amphetamine, or amphetamine. I don't know what it's called, but it just makes me happy. Bye bye. going to take you guys to a little tour of my garden and show you all the little mistakes that I just recently made. We did not cut back the forsythia after they bloomed last spring, which make them very tall and long and very difficult to use. I have been told that tulips are good at cast flowers only one season. So I pulled the bulbs out from the ground and put in my compost pile after the first season. But these tulips, they keep blooming. This is the third season already. I'm so glad I left them in the ground. But my mistake was that I pulled a lot of tulip bulbs on the other garden. I put the compost on my new garden bed. The tulips that I put in the compost, they are blooming right here in my new garden. I did not intentional planted them. They were in my compost that I put on this garden. Here one more mistake. I planted this snapdragon too soon. When the stem and the leaves are not strong yet and they got rain over. If you plant them out when they are stronger, they tend to handle the climate better. Here the snapdragon that I planted them last spring, they come back, so these are my backup. I should have pulled the weeds in fall. Now, the rhizome spread all over this garden. It's been raining very hard and I should have harvested some of my daffodil and store them in my refrigerator. And here's a columbine that I sowed the seed last spring and it took them 1 year for them to bloom. Now they are blooming. I moved this Queen Anne lace tray to the greenhouse too soon. So the whole tray is dead. This one a survivor, this one dead, or these are survivor. A couple weeks ago, I discussed about the benefits of start out seedlings sooner than flower farmers. But I forgot to mention that it doesn't mean that you can transplant them outside before the last frost, especially the summer flowers like zinnias. So I just got reminded by one of us in the comment and I just want to thank you so much for that. And you provide the feedback in the most respectful way. And that is why I, really love gardening community here on my channel. So my tip is that whenever you're thinking about transplanting the flowers, the summer flowers outside, check your forecast. Make sure that in the next 10 days and the next 2 weeks, there are no chance of frost at all. To be safe, the temperature should stay like above 40 degrees at least. I thought that deer don't eat azalea. These are not gonna bloom this spring. So I learned that they don't eat spirea at all. They don't even touch it. They also don't eat the catmint. They don't eat foxglove. They don't eat hyacinth. They don't eat daffodil. On my rockery front garden, I plant a lot of foxglove here and they don't touch them. Haha. Also catmint. In spring last year, my social media, my Facebook, my Instagram blew up big time. I gained a lot of followers. People in my town, my communities start talking about my roadside stand. Some of my customers call me local celebrity. I was excited, but at the same time, I was a little nervous. And anyway, one day I was planting seedlings in my garden. I ran out of fertilizer, so I drove to the local garden center that I usually go to. And when I walked to the entrance, I noticed that something was different. A lot of people looked at me. And some of them, kind of stare at me. Some of them whisper and look at me, and then look at their friend or the person that they came with. I was trying my best to act as normal as possible. If I made eye contact, I smile at them and then they smile back at me. So I grabbed fertilizer real fast. I paid for them and I drove home. But in my mind, I was like, oh my God, this is what it takes to be famous. This is how it feels like, to be a celebrity. I should have been careful for what I wished for. I will never have my privacy back ever again. Anyway, I finished planting. I went to the house and got changed. I took my shirt off and then I took my jeans off and oh my goodness, there was a big hole on the back of my jeans. Oh my goodness, that's the most embarrassing mistake that I ever made in spring. Guys, I want to make it clear that my primary reason for making this video is to just share my mistake with my flower friends. Just to look back at my mistake and laugh it off together. I don't mean for you to learn from my mistakes, to not make the same mistake as me, because I feel like it's so important that you go out there to your garden, try your things, try something different than me, and learn from your own mistakes. It is true that you can learn from other people's mistakes, but I think it's just like about 20% of learning, but about 80% you learn from your own mistake. So always try something new in your garden. It can be something that is new to you or something that is new to all of us. And you will learn what works, what doesn't work. All right? Dinner is ready! Dinner is ready!
Go!
Baby! On your mark, get set, go!
I found one! What?
I was very protective of my garden and flowers, especially in spring when everything is so critical. I would get mad at the squirrel that dug up my tulip bulbs. I would get mad at the groundhog, that ate my pansy, the deer that ate my hosta. I even got a little nervous every time there was a family gathering in our garden. I would keep an eye on, everybody. Make sure that nobody, step on my seedlings, no one walk into my garden. Especially the kids, I would keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't get close to my garden. Make sure they don't pick my flowers. Make sure they don't even touch my flowers. I am not proud of that version of myself. I think it's the biggest mistake that I made, and I kind of regret a little bit, but you know, I learned from it. I learned that I don't want to be Uncle Crane who have a beautiful garden and grumpy, cranky every time there are people in my garden. I want to be Uncle Crane who have a beautiful garden and happy to share with other people. Happy to let, you know, family member cut the flowers and arrange together. I and Jason and every one of us are not going to live in this world forever. Creating this experience for the kids. Jason kept saying this all the time, and you know, he's my big inspiration on this. We want to create a good memory and good experience for our nieces and nephews. And you know, hopefully one day when they grow up, they would have their own garden. Hopefully, you know, they are doing the same thing, grow flowers and share with other people.